I got to remember not to do that. I got to fix that. That sucked. All right, let me start over. Let me start over. Thank you to the wife for making that cool intro. I need to get her to where she tunes that down a little bit at the end, though. Kind of a shitty day today. I know, what a noob. I'm such a fucking noob. At least I'm pretty good with financial stuff because I suck at producing YouTube videos. But yeah, so today sucked. I'm only up 285,000 across all of my accounts. Might be a little more than that, but I think that's roughly where it sits. And only 225 in the main. So a little disappointed. I can thank Tesla for being the real MVP today. You could see the upside presence in that. The calls actually were up 23% today. Not a number I hate. The recent hood play that I talked to people about, I mean, it's up 18% today. So that's not a bad day either. The Clean Spark calls that I bought were actually up 2% today, guys. Even with Bitcoin just taking a massive shit, we're still looking at a really solid market. So it's just amazing. I mean, Tesla closed up 6.34%, PayPal up almost 3, Hood up almost 5, Cypher mining Bitcoin miner 5.75, ARKG 5.5%. Palantir only 0.7, but again, I think we're topping out there. That's pretty normal. I mean, it's up so much. CleanSpark up 3%. MicroStrategy only up 1. Mara only up 2. I will take this kind of day any day of the week, ladies and gents. This is phenomenal. And then DLO. Oh my God, DLO is actually winning. Again, their earnings call went pretty good. 66%. What? I should have bought more of those when it was down. That's an insane increase. Okay, whatever. I don't care. If I make a bunch of money off of DLO, cool. I really don't give a shit. That's just a one-off play anyway. It's just a small amount of money. It's only like 40K. Same with Flux. Flux is only 35. But anyway, so ARKG, how we do on ARKG today? Up 15% on the call. So you could see today was a call day. It's fascinating thing though. The CleanSpark ones actually underperform the stock. So people are afraid to get into options for Bitcoin miners, which I think is great. I actually might look to reallocate more funds towards those CleanSpark July 2025 calls that have about 11 months to hit their target of $37. You'd want it to obviously run soon, like in the next couple of quarters, so that you could get all the extrinsic and intrinsic value. But I gotta say, guys, it's been good. Today was a great day. I won't hate on it. And let's just jump through. And again, so here's the most special thing about today that we need to cover real quick before we get into everything else. So we'll look at economic data like we normally do. We'll look at charts. We'll look at Tesla. We'll do all the things we do and then go through your guys' list. But here's one of the things I want to point out. Bitcoin just shit the bed today and dropped down lower. I actually think it's finding support here. I don't care. Even if it went down to here, I hope it goes to 52. I really do, especially with the rest of the traditional market doing really well. If I can make 285K on a day when Bitcoin is shitting its pants and dropped almost 3%, that's amazing. But the crazy part is that the miners held up. The miners actually held up today, guys. And every time I've seen that happen, we're nearing the bottom. And it's time to buy the miners. Now, I don't think anybody will buy the miners, which is fine. I will. But yeah, so this is fascinating. This is really cool stuff that we're experiencing right now. And I think, I hope Kamala sold a bunch of Bitcoin. I hope the government dumped it. Because I want it to be real clear. In case you guys don't know, there was and I wish I would have done a video for it, but there was the whole Kamala is going to meet with the crypto industry and they're going to have a talk and they're going to clarify everything and it's all going to be okay and it's going to show how the Democrats support crypto too. But it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit. So there were some pre-recordings. Nobody really serious in the industry was there. Maybe just a handful of people that are actually serious. And Kamala didn't even show up for it. And Chuck Schumer, literally all he did in his speech is say that, after the election, well, I mean, he didn't say after the election, but he said by the end of the year, which is after the election, we will do something. And when we do it, we'll be both trying to make sure that, people are safe from the crypto world and also pass legislation that can help foster it. I don't even know what the fuck that means. That's what they've been telling us on and off for a long time, but all we see is Operation Choke Point 2.0. All we see is them favoring companies like FTX that are giving a bunch of money to the Democrats, and then you find out it's a fucking scam, and then they collapse, and then they blame the whole industry, not the people that were funding their political endeavors. So I just don't. Again, anybody who's been following me for the last year plus knows that I've been so like, oh guys, the Democrats are starting to come around. They're starting to come around. I've wanted to believe that. Okay. And there are some that are good. The younger ones are good, but at least some of them, because they can see the light, they see what Bitcoin can offer. And so some of them are good, but for the most part, the Democrats need to prove themselves. Like Cynthia Loomis said, they need to prove themselves. So I'm waiting for that to happen. We'll go back to Bitcoin in a second here. Let's look at broader markets and just talk shop. But yeah, when you hate something and you preach against it like crazy, which I've been watching Democrats do in Congress since 2017, hard, like, I don't know, I'd say 75 to 80% of the hate for Bitcoin in the crypto industry came from that camp. And it's about like the opposite of that, like the Democrats give about 20% of the love too, right? So it's about the opposite of that number. But looking at traditional markets today, let me get off my soapbox. Wow. The economic data that came out was positive, and it made it look like the economy is strong, but we also still have a high likelihood of the Fed cutting. If we look over here, let me just refresh to make sure I got the latest and greatest. But We've got a 76.5% chance of getting at least one rate cut and 23.5 at two. I've been telling you for a while that I didn't think we would get three rate cuts. That was like popular for almost a day. And then it was two rate cuts, and now it's down to one, getting close to one rate cut. I think it'll be one rate cut. And I don't even know if the probability will be this high when that time comes. Maybe it'll be 50% or 40%. But I think that's what's coming. And so when we're heading closer to the direction of what I've been calling for a while. Disease Kodak, smash the like. Jesse is on fire. Yeah, please do that. I work hard for you guys. I really do try to. So if you could smash the likes, it's greatly appreciated. Now, the CNN Fear and Greed Index. We're seeing fear at 33. I love this level of fear, man. Woo! I love being down here and making, a third of $1,000,000 in a day almost. We'll get let's call it more than a fourth. We'll call it more than a fourth. But I love that. I love it when I can have such a strong day, and we're still in fear. I love it. I love it. This is the best. And I think what we're heading towards, and this is going to sound crazy, but I think it's going to be towards like 90, towards the upper ends of greed. Maybe mid 90s, upper 90s. I think that's the kind of melt up we can expect over the next 3-6 months time frame. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. It just all depends on how quickly we get there. But I do think that that's coming, and I love my positioning right now. Now, again, crypto fear and greed. Let's look at that, see how we're doing there. So we're still down a lot. And honestly, it's probably going to get lower. So for the first time in a while, the crypto index is actually lower than the stock market, which I think is great. And if we look over here, where we're treading, we're at the lowest levels in a year. That's wonderful, I think. And then also, too, if we go back even further, we're at the lowest levels still right now, like hanging around at the lowest levels that we've seen since over a year and a half. So that's pretty exciting to me, guys and gals. It's just the setup is so clean and so pure, and that's what you want to see right about now. Right about now. Sorry, I like that song. Anyway, all right, here we go. Let's take a look here. I'm just in a really good fucking mood today. I apologize for my happiness. Okay, so initial jobless claims, they were great. They came in lower than expected. We'll look at it real quick. Retail sales came in better than expected, like a really great number. Let's look at retail sales over the last 5 years. It looks like we got a 1% read, which is better than we've seen in a year and a half. That seems to be a trend. There's a trend here, and it's looking good. Let's go back 10 years. Again, we're actually seeing the first positive impulse outside of like the anomaly that happened at the end of 2022 that we've seen in a while. And think about what happened in 2023, guys, the beginning of 2023. It wasn't bad. You buy any MSTR Degen 1.75X play, I tell you what, man, if we go down to like 56 or something tomorrow, or 54, 56 on Bitcoin, I might just for fun. I might convert my MSTR over to that. Just to get that extra leverage, disease Kodak. So that's the new it's a 1.75x play for MicroStrategy called MSTX. And so basically they got approval and they went live today to be able to apply more leverage on the MSTR play, which is good because I don't think the option contracts are very good right now. So that's probably the better option anyway. All right, let's look at export prices. Export prices jumped a little bit. That's actually helpful. So that helps because it means that what we're producing, we're asking more money for, which should be positive for earnings, right? Now, what we don't want to see is import prices going up a lot. Oh, they weren't too bad. They're pretty flat, right? They were scarier at the beginning of 2024. You don't want to see this, right? But right now, they're not looking too bad. I think that gets even better because there's so much pressure in China. I'm going to show you some stuff for that, too, before we get too deep into the weeds with other stuff. But I think there's so much pressure in China that most of manufacturing and products that are coming out of there are just, the companies are eating themselves. It's horrible. It's like the Democratic Party. Anyway, my bad. All right, initial jobless claims. And I'm sorry I'm so partisan lately. It's just, I believe it's the best thing for America, and I kind of love this country, and so I apologize for loving this country so much and being so partisan about it, but it is what it is. I am still trying to be fair and balanced, right? Even at least I let you know my bias. All right, 227,000 initial jobless claims. Not a crazy number. Again, ticking down out of that trend we saw going up, which is nice. I can't even go past 3 years because, whoa, COVID was insane. We locked down everybody. We fired everybody. It was just fucking stupidity. So yeah. So anyway, so we don't really have a lot to go. But look at this. By mid 2023, we look like we're rolling over. This doesn't scream an apocalypse, and a lot of the data, we'll look at that in a second, actually appears to tie in with temporary workers being the people that were losing their jobs recently. Which again, whether you're Republican or Democrat, look at the data, try and make sense of it, make sure that it makes sense. I think that's pretty accurate. I also think, again, with unemployment, I think a lot of that is going up because we have illegal immigrants that are taking jobs from people that had them before, and those people have to go unemployed while the illegal immigrant makes, a lot less money doing the same kind of thing. Now, that can't happen broadly across everybody that's come in, but it can happen around a decent percentage, and it's a number that actually can be impactful. That's my take. I could be wrong. Welcome to life. All right, New York State Empire Manufacturing Index, still depressed, still in contraction, but I would argue that we're bouncing out of it, guys. Look at this trend going since the beginning of 2024. This screams like, hey, maybe it's going to be okay, and maybe we'll actually start to see some positive reads. So why is this good? Why when we're negative 4.7? Because the forecast and the consensus was negative 6. So this is actually showing manufacturing strength that we weren't seeing before, which I love. Let me get caught up on comments. Yep, miners surprised me. The strength in the miners surprised you, didn't it, Silas? Isn't that great? It's so exciting. First time in chat, big welcome to me. The Adventures of Bryn and Bana. That is a heck of a long name. Leaves a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. But welcome, man. Happy to have you here. RJ Cohen, tell it like it is, Jesse. Refreshing. I try to, man. I could be wrong. These are my views. I think people should be able to express themselves without constantly being filtered by other people who seem to want to filter everybody. Disease Codex. Oh, we already did that one. You buy. Okay, we talked about that. RG Cohen, I bought more SoFi today. Your thoughts on SoFi? If you have, I think SoFi looks solid, dude. I think we're going to be breaking out in SoFi. I don't like the options plays. I've said that for a while, but it looks good. MB, Jesse, how come that call performed an insane multiplier today? Just as Example, Amazon 100, because it's people betting on a massive upside. It usually whenever these whenever you get close to the bottom, like a real bottom, you'll find that the people go in hard on calls first before stock. So and then they start buying stock too. So this is what you see. You see these massive over returns in a lot of the option contracts. But again, we didn't see that on CleanSpark today, which I think means that we're early on CleanSpark. Because again, everything else in the market is exploding, and there's no reason for this to continue to go down the way it is. So I'm actually pretty excited about CleanSpark and its potential in the near future here, especially as it starts to get closer to those numbers, that target price. The percentage gain is going to explode higher. So very excited about that. Anyway, so Philadelphia Fed manufacturing index was -7, whereas the consensus and forecast was 7 and 11. So we're seeing in the Philadelphia area, the region of the Fed, that things aren't as optimistic. Let's dig into the details of that a little bit better. Why are they doing so bad? Let's see. So first off, they did have some outperformance for most of the year. They were in positive range, so you could have some oscillation to the downside. But let's read what it says. The Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index in the U.S. plummeted to -7 in August 2024, down from a 3-month high of 13.9 in July and far below forecasts of 7, marking the first contraction since January. The report indicated an overall decline in manufacturing activity with slower growth in shipments, new orders, while employment turned negative. Meanwhile, both price indexes showed continued price increases, with prices paid 24 versus 19.8. So again, Philadelphia is not having a good time right now. They don't give a lot of indication of what that is, just glancing through this. So again, we've got an outlier here. Let's look at New York again. So New York, I'd say this is more oscillation than anything. We have one that's incredibly depressed that's starting to rebound. We have another one that was doing a lot better in Philadelphia than the New York was, and now it's starting to contract. So I think we're seeing oscillation and more like a return to the median or flat level. Not that manufacturing is going to explode, not that it's immediately going to collapse. It could just literally start to table off as the oscillation normalizes and starts to flatten. Because when you get these big swings up and down, it needs to find its natural path or the fundamentals start to kick in. Retail sales, 0.4% versus a consensus of 0.1 and an estimate of 0.2. This is minus the auto sector, but again, very hot, looking strong. It says excluding auto in the United States, 0.4% month over month in July, following an upwardly revised 0.5% in June, and way better than forecasts of 0.1. Retail sales in X auto averaged 0.39% from 1992 until 2024. So again, we're seeing kind of what we would want to see for a normalization of retail sales minus auto. Again, it's just strong data. All the data today look good, guys. Continuing jobless claims, that came in, let's see, just a hair lower. But again, it's abnormally high. But if we go out 3 years, you can see how this is high, but we're getting a little bit of rounding. But it's not crazy high. It doesn't look super different than anything that we've been seeing since August of 2023, roughly 2 years or over a year ago, right? So this doesn't look nuts. Glad to be in here, Eminem, RG Cohen, cool, thanks, brother. Also, yep, the up in CLSK was unexpected versus BTC. All of them are that way. Seeing miners outperform their underlying asset is such a great sign of a bottom. I love it. What do we got here? Oh, I was looking at month over month. I do want to look at year over year for export prices and import prices. Let's take a look. So export prices year over year actually did 1.4% versus 1% for forecasts. So export prices, again, people sending stuff overseas, they're going to be getting more. They're going to be getting more money than they had before. And then import prices year over year was 1.6. The forecast was 1.8. So that actually declined. It's still going up, but it's actually starting to roll over a little bit. So that's great. So the year over year numbers really look good on all this stuff. Jobless claims 4-week average. Let's look at the average here. It doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look crazy. Same thing as what we saw before in the other ones. Philly Fed business conditions. Let's dig into the Philly. This is going to be great. We can dig into the Philly Fed data a little bit more. There's so much data today. I'll try and roll through this as quickly as I can. Business conditions. We got a 15.4. Previous level was 38.7. If we look here, we could see that looks, I've been saying this for a while, this looks like an acceleration since July of 2022. So for 2 years, business conditions under the Philly Fed have improved. That's great. CapEx, this is where people are spending money to basically revitalize their businesses, automate, do all that kind of stuff, right? In Philly, it's looking promising. We're seeing 12, whereas the previous number was 7.4. So again, we saw this massive increase in CapEx. Now we're seeing it again. This means businesses aren't scared. And just for the record, Walmart of all places, says that they're doing really good and they're not seeing a slowdown in consumer spending. That's a pretty good sign too, guys. Employment for the Philly Fed actually went down. Let's take a look here. Into contraction territory, but I think with this massive, just huge increase up to the upside, that's probably just oscillation, again, trying to find the path forward. I think the next read probably goes up. New orders. Let's look at new orders for the Philly Fed. Again, same kind of pattern here, guys. This is good. This is a bottoming pattern, and it looks like it's accelerating to the upside. We got 14.6. Previous month was 20.7. I think this looks good to me. Prices paid for the Philly Fed. This is an important figure. Doesn't look crazy. You can see where it was crazy. 2021, 2022, not some good times, huh? But prices paid are again, it was above previous, but it doesn't look crazy, and we just need to make sure it doesn't reaccelerate. Retail sales, X auto and gas. Oh, I want the year over year. Sorry, we'll roll through these fast, guys, I promise. How likely we have a rug pull tomorrow if jobs are not as good tomorrow? You can always, the data is going to push price, I think, a decent amount. But I think a lot of people are getting really optimistic. We're seeing that in the options market. Once you make these big turns in directionality, The VIX. Oh my God, the VIX. The VIX right now. Let's look at the MOVE index and then the VIX, and then we'll get back to this. We'll break this up a little bit. So the MOVE index, the bond volatility index, is flat on the day. Again, it's dropped pretty hard though. Let's look at the VIX though. The VIX, I've never seen a crush in the VIX. And I was talking about this a little bit yesterday, and it's happening. So I've never seen a crush in the VIX like what we've seen. It's never happened. It's never happened in 35 years. We are seeing the strongest drop in the volatility index in the stock market in 35 years, the entirety of the time that the VIX has been around for the S&P 500. This is signal, guys and gals. This is signal. We switched from going like stupid bearish for a second to more bullish than we've ever been in 35 years. So I would say that this is strong signal, and that it's letting you know that the chance of getting a rug pull tomorrow, I would say, is pretty low. Retail sales, though, year over year. So again, we're seeing 2.7%. The previous was 2, and the forecast was 1.8. So retail sales are accelerating. Walmart doesn't see a slowdown, and a lot of these metrics look good. Let's check out industrial production. That's month over month. Let me see. As you guys know, I try to stick with yearly data. Month over month is just a goofy number, and I don't think it provides as much signal. Now, industrial production. So it's actually pretty good shape. It has been for a while. You'll see the big drop we took in March of 2020, and then where we've been. So how did we do versus expectations? 77.8%. We were expecting 78. So this came in a little bit weaker than expected. It says capacity utilization in the U.S. fell, making a 3-month low from a downwardly revised 78.4. So it was down last month too. The rate is now 1.9 percentage points below its long-run average. Capacity utilization for manufacturing moved down to 77.2. Moreover, the operating for mining was unchanged, so mining's looking good, while the operating rate for utilities stepped down. So utilities aren't doing as well. The rate for mining was 2.3 percentage. This is where I hope when Trump wins that we really drive down cost. He wants to drive down cost by 50 to 70% in the first 12 to 18 months of his presidency. If he does that, if we're going to incentivize anything, it should be reducing base costs of energy. I think that will be amazing, and I think that'll help a lot of the different data points that we're looking at right now and here. Manufacturing production. So industrial, a little bit weaker, right? So but in mining sector seems to be a lot of it. Manufacturing production in the United States. So what did we get here? We got a 0.1%. We were expecting 0.4. This is a little bit weaker too. But does this look like maybe oscillation flattening out? I mean, it looks pretty flat right here. So we were down underneath and in contraction all the way from, all of 2023 pretty much. And now it looks like we're a little bit above contraction into expansion. What does it say though? It says slowing from a downwardly revised 0.6% rise in June. So they revised that lower. It's similar to industrial. Manufacturing production in the United States, no real signal here. All right, let's go business inventories. We got just a few more, and then we'll get out of all this stuff. We'll get out of the weeds, and we'll go into the regular economic data. Again, I'd say this is a trend where inventories are going up a little bit. Is that a good thing? I don't know, but it doesn't look abnormal at all compared to historical trends. If we go all the way back to the 90s here, look at this. Like, we're still below trend on average. So I don't think inventory levels are scary. That's fine. NAHB Housing Market Index. This is Wells Fargo Housing Market Index in the U.S. fell to 39, the lowest level of the year. Here, I want to read this, though. I want to read what it actually is for you guys to give you the full description. Oh, it doesn't even say. Oh, here we go. It says it's based on a monthly survey of home builders. They're asked to rate current sales of single-family homes and sales expectations for the next 6 months, and to rate traffic of prospective buyers. Scores for responses to each component are used to calculate a seasonally adjusted overall index, where a number of over 50 indicates more builders view sales conditions as good than poor. Okay, so that's what we have, right? It's survey-related data. It's not like hard data. Now let's look at it. You can see how it's still in a contraction territory, but I would argue that when we go back to the max here, outside of the 2008 great financial crisis, where we had a legitimate reason to drop as hard as we did because we just had way too much housing inventory, way too many people had been speculating, and they'd been doing it for, not a decade, but over half a decade, aggressively. So I would argue, sorry, I'm just doing one thing real quick. I'm turning on my air conditioning for my basement because I can do that. All right, there we go. All right, so I would argue that we've been in a contraction territory for a very long time here. And if you go back historically, the precedent for this, going all the way back to the 80s, we're at the lowest levels we've been at, and we're getting ready to reduce rates. So we're going to start going sky high, guys. This is good. This is all good. I don't care about that. 15-year mortgage rate, 30-year mortgage rate. Look at that. The 15 is 5.66. That's beautiful. We did tick up just a hair temporarily for August from 7.4 or 6.47 to 6.49. Like I said, I think we're going to be under 6 by the end of September. So I'm not worried about this at all. And as that happens, we looked at mortgage data yesterday, guys. I think it was yesterday. And if you'll remember, what we saw in that mortgage data was that applications were exploding and a lot of the other stuff was looking good. You will find that the NAHB housing market index turns around and the surveys look better, I think, come springtime when rates are much lower and there's inventory opening up from existing home sales. And all of a sudden people are like, whoa, the sales are back. We're moving. I'm liking it. So I think there's going to be a lot of great stuff there. Net long-term tick flows, I don't care so much about that right now. Foreign bond investment, this is interesting. Let's take a look. Overall net capital flows, ooh, we want to look at that too. So foreign bond investment, again, people buying our bonds, it's dropped a little bit, but look at how, this is what's so funny to me, guys. This is, oh, hey, you're welcome, Cody. I'm happy to do a lot, man. I want to do more for you guys when I feel like people need me. So this is what's so crazy is March of 2020 happened. We had this pandemic, right? Everything blew up. Our foreign bonds plummeted because everybody was rushing into places like China. Why? Because they were impressed by the fact that China was so oppressive to their people that they locked them down for 3 fucking years. So evidently that was a good thing. I don't know. But people bought a bunch of Chinese bonds. They bought a bunch of Chinese stocks. They were selling out of stuff in the U.S. But then look at what happened when people came to the realization in late 2021 of who actually was the better on the world stage. They've been buying our bonds like crazy. This is around the whole time that everybody's like, oh, BRICS is taking over the currency, blue, 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 blue. And I was like, you guys are some of the stupidest people I've ever heard. And what happened? The dollar actually gained strength. It's actually being used more, and our bond market has had nothing but money flowing into it. So again, we're the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry. That's not changing anytime soon. So don't think America's failing overnight. I know a bunch of Bitcoin maxis too that want to shit on America because I don't know, they just don't like the way we've been, and not like we're perfect. We got a lot of problems. But to bet against our markets over a short period of time makes absolutely no sense, especially if we embrace Bitcoin, technology, all these things. You don't want to bet against us. Listen to Warren Buffett. Now, look here. I would argue here, too. United States net Treasury international capital flows. Look at this. Look at how we were really down in the dumps. And look at the trend here. It's going up. We're going to see net capital flows coming in, and that's going to happen more with all the shit that's happening in China. And we're going to jump over to that real quick before we go into the rest. Nobody wants to look at the Fed balance sheet. That's a bad time. All right, here we go. China. RJ Cohen gifted 10 memberships. If you guys want one and you want to be able to speak to me, even if you hate me, well, I might block you if you hate me, but that gives you an opportunity to say something to me. Thank you very much, RJ. You are one of my most avid supporters, dude, and you treat me really well, and I appreciate it. All right, so I eloquently said in here, China is fucked. That was my way of being nice. This is from Bar Chart. They say Chinese home prices declined by the largest amount in history. History. I told you guys. The builders finally stopped doing all the building, right? Evergrande has collapsed. All these other ones, Jingzhou, all these others are gone. Like they're all falling apart, man. And now is when we see the real rollover. And if you look at secondhand or newly built, they're just plummeting. And you have to realize there are places in Shenzhen, like this is the tech capital of China, where prices have dropped by 70%. Wrap your head around that. Wrap your head around that in the United States. How would you do if your mortgage, if you were down 70% on the price you paid for your house, you only had 30% of the equity left, and you couldn't just file bankruptcy? Now China's starting to do bankruptcy reform, but there are people that can't ride on these high speed trains, can't fly on planes, and certainly can't do anything with their existing businesses because of this. and they're being heavily penalized. And the Chinese government needs to do something about that, or they're going to destroy their economy. And I've been saying this for a while, and people don't listen, man, but it is coming. It won't happen overnight. Their decline will be our benefit. I've been saying that for over a year or two for anybody who's fucking been here, that as China falls, we will benefit. And I just showed you how that was happening in the bond market. I just showed you how that's getting good in the net inflows too with our treasuries. And the same thing was happening with the dollar and its use for foreign trade. And it's going to happen with everything else, because if you can't invest in China and everybody's fleeing from China, including businesses, and there's capital outflow, you know what they're going to do? The Ray Dalios of the world that realize that they fucked up and they bet on the wrong pony, and all the World Economic Forum assholes are going to start going, holy shit, I don't want to lose everything I have. Where can we put our money? Or if you have a business in China, you're going to say, we need to get out of China, whether you're a Chinese homegrown business or whether you're a foreign one that was doing business there that realized that they need to start working outside of the country in order to be able to do business. Whether it's Trump or Harris, well, I don't know about Harris, but Biden was tough on China. Trump was tough on China. Trump is not going to be a lot easier, but I do think he's going to come at it from a different view. So it'll be interesting. China's factory output continues to decline. I'm not going to pull up this article, and we're going to move on here in a second. But again, they're hurting in so many levels. Ramalingam, thank you for joining, my friend. I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad. I'm so bad with names. All right. I want to show you guys China. Here's China, okay? Here's the freedom that's expressed in China. It's kind of like the UK. Starting to wonder if China has more freedom. When I say that, I'm joking. And here's the thing. Like, some people might think that I'm shitting on radical Islam a lot. They might think I hate Muslims. I shit on the CCP. You might think I hate China. I don't hate. I love Chinese people. I love Muslim people as long as they're not radicals that want to fuck 6-year-old girls. So to be very clear, that's my take on it. And I wouldn't be wearing a shirt that talks about the genocide that's happening against Muslim people in China if I didn't like Muslim people. So I just want to get all that shit out of the way real quick. Just so everybody knows and it's clear. How many Only Members videos do you have? Not even a dozen. Less than that. I'll probably be creating more in the future. But here's what I want to show you. I want to show you this guy. This guy from Al Jazeera is questioning, what is it? China, the Victor Gao, the sitter for China and globalization on Al Jazeera television. This is some of the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. You got to hear it.
In UK,
so you're admitting you can't criticize the Chinese government?
No. You can criticize the government if you are positive in your attitude.
You can criticize the government if you're positive?
Yes.
Is that the new philosophy?
No, if you can come up with your...
You've got to come up with nice insults?
No.
What then?
Constructive advice.
Constructive advice?
For example,
oh, I'm loving
in
this.
dealing with the aging population, what should be the government do? What should this governor should do?
But you can't say the president's lied. He's a liar.
No, it will be dealt with very swiftly in China. You cannot say that.
That is the most honest thing you've said tonight. Yes. I'll ask again tonight. Would you call Xi Jinping a pint-sized loser?
I'm sorry. I love that this guy on Al Jazeera was going after him like that. I do feel bad for Victor Gao, though. He can't say anything. He can't say anything or he'd be put to death. You know, he'd just disappear one day. So anyway, that's all the fun that's going on in China right now. If you are in China, love you guys. Hope you do all right. And definitely I would invest in foreign assets if you want to survive what's coming. But I do root for all of the Chinese people. You guys have been taken advantage of for way too fucking long. People don't realize this. They think the worst genocide that's ever happened, but God, this video is probably going to get demonetized. The worst genocide that's ever happened wasn't actually the Jews getting killed. It was the Chinese people by Mao. Rough gauge, 50 million people killed by their own ruler. It's insanity. Anyway, moving on. U.S. economic data. Let's look at it. My boy Tom Lee. I stuck up for you, Tom. When me, Kevin, was shitting on you, I stuck up for you because I knew you were right. And it's nice to see you back on here talking on X. You deserve it. You work hard, and people shouldn't shit talk you the second that something turns the other way. I hope that me, Kevin, is responsible enough to apologize to you for his actions. But anyway, it says, while bottoms are a process, a good July core CPI tilts risk on at least until Jackson Hole. Now, this is August 14th. He said this, and then we got the data, and then everything. And he said there have been incremental positive developments, and I want to read this because this is like some of his paid service for FS Insight. I don't pay for it. because we're so much in line with each other. I think we kind of see the same things. But there have been incremental positive developments in the past 24 hours, which increase the probabilities that a good July core CPI print. So he was basically just telling people ahead of time, like, guys, you better get excited. We believe that this is actually going to turn out to be really good, and that it's going to piss off a lot of bears. And he was 100% right about that. And I just brought that up because I want to give him accolades, man. This is about Walmart. Again, so here's what the CEO said. I paraphrased a little bit, but he said, here's my boy Roy talking from Crossroads on here. He says, I know everyone is looking for some piece of information that maybe indicates further weakness with our members and customers. We're not seeing it. To me, that's more meaningful of a soft landing, or at worst, a mild recession than jobless claims. That's Roy saying that last part. But I do agree. There is something to understand here, though, guys. It doesn't give us a clear signal of a bull. And here's why I want to say that. Walmart and other places like that are cheaper retail stores. So a Walmart, for instance, a cheaper retail store could see increase in customer demand during the start of a recession. Why is that? Why would they do better? Because they have cheaper goods and people are downsizing, right? They're trying to. So I love what Roy said here, but I will not say that that's 100% like guarantee that we're going to be okay. I don't think that's true. So we got some signal here, but we need to validate that signal is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's go down. My boy Cross Border Capital, Michael Howell, a man I love. He said, so 4 cuts then? That's the latest U.S. nowcast for rate cuts. And it shows GDP economic momentum indicator picking up, and it shows expected number of FF rate cuts. So we're actually seeing rate cuts increase, and we're seeing momentum increase for the economic indicator. That's pretty positive stuff. I also wanted to talk to this, and my friend Angie, she shit all over this guy. I don't know who Fernando is, actually, but he's talking about how, oh yeah, we're going to go up, and then we're going to fall off a cliff, and everybody's going to die. We're going to be down, the S&P is going to drop down to 4,000 real quick. I completely disagree with this. I don't think he understands how markets work. But I said a lot of people are still praying that the markets drop because they repositioned on recent fears of the Japanese carry trade unwinding. They're going to feel a lot of pain when that doesn't happen. What say you, Real Meat Kevin? And I wouldn't normally shit on Kevin, but he kind of pisses me off with his flip-flopping, and he really angers me when he attacks really great people like Tom Lee that don't attack anyone. Tom Lee is somebody who gets attacked incessantly, and he's control and measured and just puts his nose down and moves forward, and I love that. And it's disrespectful to come into markets. Me, Kevin, has been doing this a lot less than I have, and I hold Tom Lee in higher regard than I hold myself. So I just don't think it's appropriate when you've only been an investor really for less than 4 years to act like you're a god who knows everything. So it pisses me off a little bit. I'm not a god. I don't know everything. And I've been doing this on and off for over 25 years. Really, that's probably a lie. 15 to 20, where I've really learned a lot and worked harder. All right, let me see here. I'm throwing this out real quick. It just talks about, it's politics, and I'm sorry, but it's important. So Kamala Harris, in her proposal, some of the stuff that she's talked about doing is a federal ban on price gouging this week. And I'm just saying, let's call that what it really is, Joey said. The government setting prices for corporations. Let's call that what it really is. The first foray into communism. How come Trump was able to keep prices low without growing government to the levels of China? And we're kind of shitty. We're like at 125% debt to GDP, but we're not like China. China's over 340, I think now. They are melting down. So we're not at that level, but why would we want to use communistic ideas for our economics when we know how horrible they play out? And we're going to look at another chart here that's going to kind of talk to that a little bit, but I won't beat that horse right now. Let's move on. VIX almost down 80% in 1 week. What the fuck is going on? This person said, because this is so unheard of. Sven Henrik says, I think it's fair to say none of us have ever seen anything like it. It's never happened before. This is the most epic VIX crush in history. If that doesn't tell you we're melting up, I don't know what does. Kevin Gordon said the NASDAQ 100 has erased its August decline. It's gone. Seth Golden, my boy from Jersey. I think he's liberal. Don't hate me, Seth. Don't hate me for my changes, man. Anyway, I think he is. He might not be. Campbell Harvey, yield curve recession signal founder on soft landing versus hard landing probabilities. All right, here we go. Soft landing, pro. Strong housing equity debt. Agree. While unemployment rising, rate is low and still plenty of openings. Agreed. Plus, again, you have like the potential for the housing sector firing off. Real-time inflation is less than 2%. Agreed. Yield curve inversion gave companies time to strengthen their balance sheets. 100% agree. That's often overlooked. Big banks have low leverage. Our banks, because of laws that were actually, they were pushed forward by Democrats. It's probably one of the better things they've done. And I forget the name of it. It escapes me off the top of my head. But they made it to where banking requirements are higher. They have to have more capital than they used to have previously. Now, that's hurt them from a lending perspective and from a growth perspective. But I actually think that was a good thing because it set us up for a really great position right now. There you go, guys. I can say something nice about Democrats. I am actually a centrist. I got called far-right extremist today. I thought that was entertaining. I voted for Joe Biden last time, and I'm a far-right extremist because I'm not doing that now, and I'm arguing against him. It's crazy. U.S. relatively immune to geopolitics. I 100% agree, unless those geopolitics turn out to be war with in Taiwan and China, then that's just gone. AI revolution will benefit us. Yes, it'll benefit us, and it won't benefit places like China. I might elaborate on more on that later. I've done it before. Hard landing, con. Fed has kept rates far too high. I 100% agree with that. They need to come down, and they will. But I think they're trying to apply pressure. I think they're trying to apply pressure to China, and I need to make a separate video about that. I've got a lot of videos coming, guys. Tomorrow I have a video between Vivek and Balaji. It talks about deregulation and why they believe now is the perfect time to be able to do that, especially if Trump gets in office, and because of all the things we've seen from Elon Musk and just the ability, because Balaji was actually, I don't know if I think he turned down a position. I'll listen to the video. I haven't heard it all. Talking for the FDA and working for them to help with deregulation. But he just said, Dodd-Frank, thank you, Silas. That's what I was talking about. Dodd-Frank. It was really tough on banks. It raised capital requirements. It sucked for lending. Jamie Dimon hates it. But it's actually beneficial for where we are now and what we dealt with since March of 2020. So there's goods and bads about it, but I think it set us up well. So thank you for that, Silas. Now, so Balaji didn't join the FDA, but they talk about deregulation. They talk about why now in the future he might join the FDA and how deregulation would work to help America, help our medical industry lower prices, help for people that could die from not being able to get medicines that are allowed in Europe but aren't allowed in the United States. Trump actually helped with some of that. If you guys actually watched the interview with Elon Musk and Trump, but there's stuff like that where we should give people the right to be able to say, I understand the risks and I understand that I might die, but I want to try an experimental treatment so that I don't. I think that's fair. Isn't that fair? Don't we have the fucking right to try that shit? Don't we have the right to be like, I don't want to die. I want to try this other thing. And if I die, jot down on the sheet, shit, didn't work. I mean, I want that kind of ability in my life. So, but I think deregulation is coming. It's coming in a huge way when Trump wins, and I think he's going to win. And if you guys wonder about that, I won't talk more about it now, but that's in my political videos that I've started doing. Yield curve inversion and the SAM rule are cons in here, and that's true. But the person who came up with the yield curve inversion said that they're not sure it's actually applicable this time. And the same with the SAM rule. She said she doesn't think it's applicable right now because it's a very dumb rule that doesn't incorporate a lot of things like the illegal immigration that I was talking about. So she doesn't even think it's real. So maybe it's not a con. Consumer savings have depleted. God, I've been hearing that for the last 2 years. $9 trillion of deficits over 4 years has reduced flexibility. I do agree with that. But when the global money printer is going to go burr, it don't really matter too much. 36% of income taxes go to pay interest. I mean, that's not, again, our debt is unserviceable, but these are longer term problems. These aren't like it's going to cause the market to implode in the next 6 months problems. Office and commercial real estate and regional banks. So we already had the regional bank thing. And what did our Fed say? What did Ms. Papa Powell say? He said, oh, don't worry about it, guys. I got you. We'll make sure that anybody with the bank might fail, but we know that everybody who banks with the banks, the Federal Reserve will just take care of them, irregardless of the insurance levels that are set up for the Fed. We just got everybody. So that is huge. That is huge after the Silicon Bank disaster. That is huge. And then commercial real estate, nobody gives a fuck about. Jerome has already said we talked to all of the companies or the banks that are affiliated and have done lending with the commercial real estate sector. We are not in any way worried about a systemic issue that we can't cover. So that's the signal we've gotten out of the Fed. So I'm still optimistic, and I think there's reasons for that, and I think I've made a couple of really good ones for you guys. All right, let me go back over. So Goldman Sachs, again from Seth, rise in temporary layoffs accounted for 70% of its increase. I think I said this a little bit earlier. But temporary layoffs are also very noisy and somewhat less cyclical than permanent. This is true. And this is why we're going to continue to monitor layoffs. And the reason we're going to monitor layoffs is because temporary layoffs do usually preclude more permanent layoffs. So we do need to pay attention to this stuff. We also need to factor in the illegal immigration and that them stealing jobs. Shouldn't say stealing. Well, kind of taking jobs from people that have been here, like from, well, whatever. I'm trying not to be political. All right, let's go. Seth again, after 1 week spike above 45 and VIX, 9 months later, the S&P has been higher every time, shy of the great financial crisis period. And we know since that time, the money printer goes burn, that the government is going to insure everything. That's what changed since 2008. Median forward 9-month return is 10.5%. That would be a good number. That's just the median, though. With the amount of VIX crush we've just seen, I don't know if it's 10.5. I think it's a lot higher. Anyway, look at Seth's post. He's one of my favorite people. He's a really good guy, too. I'm sorry your wiper motor broke on your Cybertruck, Seth. Mine didn't. So other stuff broke, but I caused all of it. Bar chart. Goldman Sachs now pricing. Oh, we did this one the other day. We're done with economics, guys. We're done with the economics. Now, let's talk about Tesla. I want to talk. Yeah, let's do Tesla. We're going to do Tesla. All right, if you guys could. It says 312 people here. I would love it if you guys could do a like. And if you guys have, ring the bell. Why is my chart not coming up? Where's my chart? One sec, guys. I got to fix my little screen display thing here. It looks like my Elgato Stream Deck kind of shit on me for a second. We got to bring that back. Got to bring her back. Let's try. There we go, Tesla. All right, sweet. So let's look at Tesla today. This is actually, I believe, very strong signal on Tesla that we're printing today. Two nice green candles. Here's the thing I love about it. I love that we're above the 200 moving average on the 4-hour. And I love that we blew above and then we've established a trend higher. Tesla, let's go. I know, Urcom, it's so beautiful. And we're above on the daily, we're above the 200, the 100, and the 50 moving average. This is bullish territory. Super excited about this. And again, I don't hate the fact that on Tesla alone today, I made $123,000. You got to remember, I already locked in $350,000 in gains like a month ago or something before we started taking a shit. And here we are. I'm up $250,000 on the ones that are still here, not including the ones that I locked in. So, it's just beautiful. It's a very exciting time right now for this stuff. And I want to talk to Tesla and more. We're going to roll through a bunch of Tesla stuff. But just look at the technicals on here. We want to close this gap up by 244. If we get up to like the 230 range or something like right up here, I'm going to start taking some profits on my Tesla and probably turning it into TMF or at least TLT, the 20-year bond. I'll explain more about that in a second here. But I'm excited about it. Let me see. So Shale, FDA never forgets. Yeah. Dougie Fresh 69. Every time you say BTC is about to break out, it crashes. Bro, I'm sorry. If it makes you feel better, here's something I've learned a long time ago. Let me put this out there. So with Bitcoin, it will do that. It will do that to the point of suffering. But in the Bitcoin world, in a 4-year cycle, do you know how many days are when 90% of the gains are made? Do you guys know? Throw it out there if you know, guys. Give me a number. 90% of the gains. How many days out of 4 years, out of like 1,300 days, are 90% of the gains? Please tell me. No, it's more than that. It's like 60 or something like that. It's around there. 10 or 12, maybe. You guys pull that up. A lot of people are saying the same thing. I don't think that's the right number, but if you got it, show it to me. But here's my point. Here's my point. If you got to be in, and this is not the time to be out. So yes, I am going to be overly optimistic at this part of the cycle in people getting in. Just like I was really overly optimistic. No, it's not 5 for sure. You guys are all over the place. Anyway, if somebody's got something on that, let me know. But you got to be overly optimistic when we were at 15,000. And that's when I just tell, like, I push out nothing but positive content. I give nobody negative news when we're at a cycle low. I don't give any of it, right? I could do that, but I don't want to do that because I want people to get in early. Right? So here's the thing that's going to happen. When we're at Bitcoin 150K, you guys are going to start to hate me. You know why? Because I will start giving you a bunch of negative stuff to worry about. And I'll do that because I want you guys to lock in profits on some of it, right? I want you guys to have gains that you're proud of at the end of this. I want you to be able to diversify into other things that you love where you can make a bunch of money. So you will find, yes, I posted like, hey, we're ready to break out. I still think we're there. Does it matter if it's a week? Does it matter if it's 2 weeks from now? Does it matter if it's a fucking month or a quarter from now? No. If it's going to 150,000 and you're getting 5, 10x on some of your investments, it won't matter that I was bullish and wrong by a day or a week or a month or a quarter. It won't matter. So that's why I do it. I do it because I want to protect you guys by helping you make money and keeping you from listening to the emotion in your head and doing stupid shit. So yes, I will err on that if I can keep you from selling. RJ Cohen, this is exactly why I give out memberships. Jesse knows his shit. Put on your thinking caps. Thanks, dude. I try to. I'm wrong a decent amount. Daniel Maines, it's hard on Bitcoin to watch some days, but Jesse's tweets and consolidates over the past few cycles are very reassuring. That's why I do it. I do that to try and reassure you so that you stick around. RJ Cohen, I know I do, and I'm rewarded for it. All right, and then we got Cody, crypto fiat stocks melting up between the script all year, or been the script all year. Yes, exactly. Scott Hutchins, get in early, get in hard. James from Iowa. Yes, dude. Westman, not if it pays not if it pays off the house. Legit 9595 over 50 years missing. Tuesday best 10 days will cost you 50%. Oh, that sounds right. That sounds right. That's a good number. Yeah, thank you for that. Christopher Brown, Tom Lee always says Bitcoin makes most of its gains in 10 days. And that's the 50% number that we're talking about. I agree with that. Claims 90% of gains happen in 10 days. But I don't know. He never claimed that. So you guys are right. The 10 days that you're getting with the over the majority of the gains, spot fucking on. It's probably like 2 months or 2.5 months for 90% of the gains. But again, it's like out of 1,400 days or over, it's like, do you really want to take that risk? Even if it's like 80 days, do you want to take that risk? And so that's why, again, at the bottom of the bear, I'm pushing it. And when I know we're nowhere near the top, I'm pushing it. Grok answer, if we're looking for the days where 90% of the gains might occur, we're talking about a very slight tight window. Grok said that, huh? All right, I gotta look at my number again. I gotta change my talking point if Grok said that. Andrea, would you de-risk your Bitcoin plays right before election day? I'm probably, if we get a really wicked run, I'm gonna de-risk a little bit so that I have cash. Yes. I will. It depends on where I think we're going. If I have a high confidence that we're going to crush the election with Trump, and when I say we, I mean Trump, and that we're going to see a lot of benefits from that, I'll probably still delever a little bit, because what you'll find with these elections is each side has a very different view. This is going to shock you guys. Each side has a very different view of what the other side is going to do to the economy. So when Trump took office, going back a few years, the market dumped. I think I'd have to look. I should actually do that. That's a good video. I should look and see whether or not we did that with Biden too. I want to say we did, but you'll see, and maybe we didn't. There was a lot weird narrative with January 6th and all this other stuff. But I've got to go back and look at elections and look at the dumps. But a lot of the times what happens is, if Trump wins, all the Democrats are probably going to sell, or at least take some money off the table, because they think he's going to F everything up and destroy us. And it would be the same way in reverse, even though I believe it would be true with Kamala winning. So I do think if we do really well between now and the election, I don't think it's dumb to have some cash on the sidelines and a hedge to be able to make some money. If you guys could hit the like, and then again ring the, if you haven't been watching a lot or you're new here, select the bell. If you already had the bell selected, turn it off and turn it back on, because when you go dormant for a while, the algo just turns off notifications. So if you guys want to see this stuff, you got to turn it back on. All right, so let me get back over here. So Tesla looking great, up 6.34%, up in after hours too. Made me 130K. And let's just look at it. Let's get into it here. Chinese robotaxi provider WeRide has been cleared to begin testing in California. Will Tesla finally begin testing on 1010? They should. I don't know if California will be the place, but they should. Alexandra Murs, Tesla Boomer Mama, posted this video. I love it. It's really short. I just want you to hear this.
He gets up every morning thinking, what can I do for humanity today? How can I do something that will be impactful to humanity of the future? That's what he's focused on. He gets up every...
This is vice president of Tesla that hasn't worked there since 2013. So he hasn't worked there in 9 years. And this is what he has to say about the man who runs this company. And I think that says a lot about Tesla, when people are like, dude, this guy just wants a better world, and he's constantly focused on that. He created Tesla to save us from climate change. Whether you believe in it or not, that's what he did. He bought X so that he could save freedom of speech. He created SpaceX so that we could get to Mars. He created Starlink so that the world could have access to internet and have it be unfiltered by whatever governments exist in different countries, so that when Russia was invading Ukraine, they couldn't literally just take them over in a couple of days. He helped give them Starlink satellites to make it to where they could communicate with each other, since Russia had attacked all these places and basically taken out almost all of the internet and ability for the country to communicate. This in Neuralink, he's trying to help people walk again in the future that are paraplegics, and he's helping people right now that had to use like things in their mouth to click on keys to be able to fucking interact with the world around them, and now they can do it better than a person like me sitting in front of a computer when it comes to technology. It's amazing. This man is nothing but focused on making the world a better place in every way, and there are still people that shit on him. So I'm going to say, listen to May Musk, shut the fuck up. He's a good person, and if you don't know that, fuck, don't be on my page. All right, Sawyer Merritt. In July, the Tesla Cybertruck was the best-selling vehicle in the U.S., priced over $100,000 for the second month in a row. Hey guys, that ugly fucking truck I own that never is going to get made is now the second best luxury vehicle, selling vehicle in the entire fucking country out of every vehicle. I love it. Again, Mario put Cybertruck dominates the luxury market for the second month in a row, yada, yada, yada. Its unique design, top-tier features, and powerful tri-motor Cyber Beast model attract buyers seeking luxury innovation. There is nothing like the Cybertruck. I love it. Some people... You know, I've had 4 or 5 people that think I made it. They think I made the fucking truck. I don't know what to say, man. Anyway, Eunice Yoon. She's my favorite Chinese reporter. I love this woman so much. She is the ballsiest bitch I've ever heard in my life. She is... I mean, during COVID, all these other things, she says what's on her mind, and I love her for it, even in a regime where that is not easy to do. She is one of the great ones. So I want you to hear what she has to say about concerns and just what's going on with the global auto industry and what's going on with Chinese EVs and how they compare to Tesla. Let's just look at this. This is minute 57, but I want you to hear it.
On a long road trip with your family? Maybe you'd like to consider a Li Auto L6.
Family in the front seats can watch TV or get massaged by their chairs. And if you want a cold drink, there's a fridge in the back.
Chinese EV makers
That's actually pretty cool.
are packing tech features into their cars to win over drivers at home and around the world. Voice-activated AI assistants like Nomi in the Neo EC6.
While other car AI systems respond to direct voice commands, such as turn off the air conditioner, people on social media say that Nomi sounds more like a person. Hey Nomi, I feel so cold. 我很冷.
调高了2度，马上就温暖了。
Neo also tries to keep you on the road by exchanging your depleted battery.
Stupidest fucking idea in the entire world. Neo is such a shit company. If you're invested in Neo, just give me your money. I'll do something with it. Otherwise, just burn it. Just burn it.
With a charged one at stations like this.
So we're 92% charged, and that took a little less than 10 minutes.
Which is fucking retarded, because I could literally do that same thing and in like 15 minutes, and I've grabbed something like at the gas station, or like I've gotten a Starbucks coffee, and then before I know it, I'm already leaving. I've taken a piss on my road trip. And again, you start your day every day with your car. You should, with like 300 miles of range. So the only time I ever charge my car somewhere else, and again, this isn't applicable for people that are like in cities and don't have a garage. I got a garage, right? But for everybody that's like me, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. It's only on trips. And if it takes 3 minutes longer, why would you want the liabilities of swapping battery structure and then potentially getting a really shitty one? How do you warranty that? You could literally drive the cars like shit and just swap out the batteries all the time with like a new one. It's just it's so dumb. And here's where I'm coming from. This concept is one that Tesla came up with. Okay? They also came up with the one with the snake that like Elon said, don't bend over in front of it to connect your car with power. But they haven't done either one of these. Maybe one for they don't want to give you a rectal exam, and the other one it was not a good idea in any way from a first principle standpoint. Anyway, rant over.
And if you miss the roar of a combustion engine, no problem in the Xpeng G6.
I could change a setting so that this EV sounds as though it's running on gas.
Stupid.
The Chinese EV makers cram in these features at lower prices.
The Xpeng G6 has almost the exact same dimensions as the Model Y, but at $27K, it's $9,000 cheaper.
Yet
Nice.
in other ways, they're still getting up to speed.
你好，小皮，自动补车. Please park the car.
I can
All right,
tell
here we
the AI assistant to park the car without me. Or maybe not. And you often get what you pay for. This BYD Tang is a 7-seater, $11,000 less than the Model Y, but the backseat is a squeeze, and interior trim basic. With so much focus on tech, Tesla's rivals have yet to catch up on performance, a hurdle Chinese EV makers could face finding global customers. Eunice Yoon, CNBC.
I'm amazed that Eunice can even say that in China, but she is a miraculous woman who I idolize. She's great. Again, if you've been watching her for as many years as I have, you'd understand why. NIO is modeled around a 5% niche concern. It's a 5% niche concern, but the cost behind it, there's a reason NIO is the shittiest fucking EV maker in China as far as like overall costs, are right up there. Even though they've had some level of success for production, it's because they have stupid ideas. And now, not only do they have the large battery changer one that we just saw, but now they have a different vehicle that's going to require a different one. They don't even work together. If you're invested in NIO, you like pain and suffering and maybe bondage. I don't know. Doge designer. Imagine Elon Musk assisting the government efficiency committee. He would eliminate trillions of dollars that currently being wasted. People tell me not to get political, but then I look at the relationship that's being established between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and I can't help but be excited by what can come from that. And then I think about what might happen if the other person gets into power. Will Elon and will Donald Trump suffer greater persecution? If you've been following Tesla and Elon Musk, you know that the liberals hate Elon, even before he did his transition to being endorsing Trump or anything like that, or having more conservative leaning ideas. They literally, Biden in this presidency at the beginning of it, he had plenty of opportunity. He literally ignored Tesla at every point so that he could focus on, the union agenda, basically the people that own him, right? Unions own him. And so he never gave acknowledgement to Tesla. The Justice Department, all these guys sued constantly. SpaceX, they sued SpaceX because they weren't allowing immigrants to work there, illegal immigrants, even though there are laws when you're dealing with space technology in the federal government that prevent you from being able to hire anybody like that. The Department of Justice was suing them for something that they would be doing something illegal to do, to get them to do it. I don't even know what to say. There's so much of this, so many different lawsuits, so much wasted time, so many attacks against, whoa, hello, we dropped that there. So many wasted attacks against Elon Musk. And do you think those will get better if Trump doesn't win? I don't think they'll get better. I think it'll get worse, right? I think they'll go after him. Peggy, Tesla stock sold off the hardest when interest rates went up. It will rally the hardest once they drop. Market. I'm with you, Peggy. I'm with you, bro. All right. Doge Designer. Again, Elon Musk does things to help the world, which is why I want to support him in doing his things.
Someone comes in and offers you $44 billion for Twitter right now. Would you take it?
No.
Would you consider it?
No.
Why?
I take it back. It depends on who. I suppose if I was confident that they would pursue, they would rigorously pursue the truth, then I guess I would be glad to hand it off to someone else. I don't care about the money really, but I do want to have some source of truth that I can count on, and I hope that's our aspiration with Twitter, is to have a source of truth that you can count on. It's also real time. It's an immediate source of truth that you can count on, and that gets more accurate with time as people comment on particular.
Someone comes in and offers you $44 billion.
Isn't that amazing? This guy threw away, well, I mean, he didn't throw it away. He's probably going to make tons of money off of it. But he spent $44 billion, a very large portion of his net worth, because he wants freedom of speech and accuracy of information. It might not be accurate the second it goes out, but that's why we have community notes. And so if you follow big accounts and they say stupid shit, whether they be Elon Musk, President Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, doesn't matter. The community looks at it and will rate it. And these people have ratings inside of there. And there's the system to be able, that's decentralized within the centralized entity, that allows us to be able to verify the truth and feel confident in the people that are evaluating it. And that's not a left or right thing. It's just, it's so beautiful. And again, I talk about this stuff with Tesla. I do have more macro stuff that we're going to go over here in a second, along with rolling through the stocks. So we'll get to that. But I just want to finish up here. Sawyer Merritt said, President Biden first announced he was dropping out in 2024 a race on X. The mainstream media talks about Elon and X every day. That doesn't sound like a platform that is losing relevance. This says from Bloomberg, Musk X reeks of failing social network syndrome. Isn't that funny? They're losing users. This is in August 14th of 2024. There are 18 million unique monthly active users that were gained in the last fucking month. And this is the kind of shit. This is why I don't pay for Bloomberg or any of these things. This is why legacy media is dying. And I love this. You can see Messenger, WhatsApp getting killed. You can see CNN, CNBC, Fox News. All these things are dropping fast in utilization, incredibly fast. And now he's going after Midjourney and Dolly with Grok. I just think that's beautiful, and I think it's true. And let me see here. So this says Trump and Elon held a Spaces that reached over 1 billion people. No sponsors, no commercials, no corporate bosses. Mainstream media is dead. It's never coming back. But here is the message. You know what? I'll skip this one. You guys have already heard it. It's basically just them shitting on X and saying that it's a joke. Okay? All right, so we're done with this stuff. Let's move on. All right, let's get to Bitcoin real quick. We're going to roll through a couple of other things here too. So let's look at the indices real fast, guys. This is important. So the S&P, does that not look like signal? What did I tell you guys yesterday? We needed follow through to ensure that we didn't have a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. I can't think of better follow through than this. If we got to the .618 tomorrow because we were really bullish, we would have a 3 white soldiers pattern, and we would have the most bullish fucking pattern you can imagine that wants to go up to the next level, roughly 6,500 in the S&P. This is not bearish at all. The NASDAQ. And what did we get? Sorry, what did we get on the S&P? We were up 1.61%. Let's look at the NASDAQ. Up 2.46%. Gapping up. Totally looking like it's going to blow through the shoulder pattern too. And it outperformed the S&P. More signal here. After bottoming in the RSI on the daily time frame and it looking really good off the weekly. What about the Russell? The 2000, the small caps that everybody was shitting on. I said, hey guys, We're sitting on the first fib level. We've done a really good job establishing support after bouncing off the 200 weekly moving average in amber. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing go up, because I think that this impulse up here was more signal than it was a blow off top. And what did we fucking do today? The Russell, the small caps, just outperformed the other indices, just like Tom Lee's been talking about. So get your shit together, guys. We're going to the moon on the Russell, and I fully expect another 36% in gains on the Russell 2000 index, hitting roughly the 2,900 level. That's what I'm talking about, just so you know. Gold, I want to bet, did we retrace? Nope, we're still going up. So there's some speculation in gold. But again, 27% in gains in over 13 years is not a great number. Oil. We're back up above. No, we're trying to get above. Let me just go into here. We're trying to get above the 200. Technically we're above it, oscillating, but this doesn't look good. The 200 is screaming up so much higher in the weekly. I think we're going to continue to roll over. We couldn't get above the 50 and the 100. We closed right above the 200. I think this is heading down. Again, Iran said last Wednesday or Tuesday they were supposed to have this big thing against Israel, and we never got it. There have been missile attacks from Lebanon, but they're just not real. They're nothing of substance. If you guys, someday I'll have to do a conversation talking about Iran and Israel, but Israel could wipe out Iran and send them to the dark ages in one night without nukes. So none of that shit matters. All right. The 2-year, we saw that the MOVE index crush. We saw the volatility index for the stock market crush. We're seeing a little bit of strength here in the bond market. I do think we'll see some rollover, but maybe we go back up and test up here to this previous support line and just test it against resistance where we run in the stock market for, maybe days and a week, and then hit it and then maybe take a breather. I'd like to own a little bit of TMF at that point, so that I could enjoy that rollover when it comes back down. Here's the yen. Oh, and I got to do the dollar too. The yen was flat on the day. The Chinese yuan is starting to go up. I'm telling you guys, this is the pattern I'm seeing. This is the signal. We're going to go to 8 on this. It's going to be incredibly fucking painful for China. It's going to show the devastation that they're going through, but it can take a while. So that's what's coming. The inversion, the 10-year inversion. Again, just what I said it's going to do. It's rolling back down and spending time here, giving everybody time to be able to get ready for whatever's coming. And then if it doesn't come right away, you know what the markets do? They go up all day. Put and calls. Oh, we're seeing more puts getting crushed here. Again, it's just not looking good. Nobody's ready to hedge yet. And then we saw that impulse where everybody's going risk on. It's the greatest one in history. Maybe that's fucking signal. All right. What else we got? All right, Bitcoin. Again, we already looked at this. I think this is a beautiful chart. We're already starting to bounce up here. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we get right up here around the 58.5 level, maybe even by tomorrow morning, and start to turn some of these other areas into support. We're kind of doing that right now. But if we get up to like 58, that in and of itself is beautiful. And that would let me know that we're still going up. So, and if I'm wrong and we roll over to here, who gives a fuck? Bring 52,000. If the stock market's going up, that's just more money for me in the future. I don't care. MicroStrategy. Again, MicroStrategy had the strongest bounce, better than miners. And look at this. We're right above the previous resistance level from February 2021, which marks the top of the last cycle. We're right above that. This is bullish. Mara, didn't do so great, but they had their convertible debt shelf offering. I do have to agree. Rex Finance posted something that said that, I don't like the fact that Mara has to do convertible offerings to be able to buy Bitcoin to basically help their earnings. I mean, that's legit. It's very true. It's very true. That's what they do. But you can't discount the fact that that actually is a strategy and it has been working and it helps conceal their mismanagement. So I still own Mara. It is not my biggest miner play. CleanSpark is, but I do think that this is going to do well. I think we're in our bottoming pattern. I think we're getting ready to curl higher in Mara, even though it was up 2% on the day and then down like 0.5% in after hours. CleanSpark, my baby. All right. So they're still underneath the fib. We need to see this go higher. Could Bitcoin roll over and this thing drops down to the 200? Fuck, I hope so. I hope so, because I'll convert. I'll take some of my other winners, or I'll convert some of my CleanSpark stock. And if we get a real crush in the options, just because they're not going anywhere and nobody's interested in them, which I love, because all the people that bought them have been destroyed over the last year and a half. I don't love that for anybody that might be impacted here, but it is what it is. I told people not to do it. You did it anyway. So, but I do think it's a great opportunity, and I will take advantage of that. Cypher. Cypher is underneath the first fib, underneath peak volumes. So we're still in a consolidation pattern here. We bounced 5.75% earlier in the day, but after hours is getting a little bit of crush. I think that's okay. I hope Bitcoin rolls over. You know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. You got it. So I think that's it for that. Let's jump over into other stuff. PayPal, and then I'll get to your guys' stock requests. That's how we do it in the back half. Now, PayPal. Oh, my PayPal. I've been shit on so much by people. I'm down about 45% on PayPal right now, but I was wrong for over a year and a half on PayPal. I was wrong for a year and a half, and with options, and I'm only down 45%. So I'm gonna look like a fucking baller if this turns out well and we go to the levels I think we're gonna go to. And I will so rub that shit. I would like to say I'm a better man. I would like to say I'm a better man, and I won't talk shit when that happens, but I will, because I'm not. Maybe that's for another life. I'm ready to have some fun. So anyway, we are nearing the breakout level. Peak volumes underneath of us. Next step, really, before we start to kind of like fall down, is probably right around here in like the 73, 72 range. We should be able to get up to that. That will actually, so you look, you got our bottom here, you got a higher high, you got a third higher high. That would be really our fourth higher high, and will be beautiful. I mean, it just marks the change in the trend. And I think that PayPal can go up with velocity. They just had the fast lane stuff today. There's a bunch of things going on with Apple and NFC chips. There is. Look at this. Oh, we even have a little bit of bullish. Yeah, it's just, it all looks so good, guys. I'm really excited about PayPal. I think that Alex Chris is brilliant, and I'm gonna make a lot of money off of this shit. And when I'm at least double my money on it, I will gloat so badly, so badly. All right, Robinhood. Up to no good. Robinhood actually up to some good today. Up almost 5%, down only 0.2 in after hours. Again, there's no way this is a head and shoulder, right? Because we blew through it and basically had the measured move already and stopped perfectly on the .786 and the previous resistance level. We are set to moon. $30 inbound. My options love it. If you own some, yours will too. SoFi. All right, I got people asking about SoFi, because they've been so fucked on SoFi for so long. So let's look at it. Oh, I do need to do this. I've been meaning to do this. I need to stretch this over, and I need to save, because it's like, yeah, I can't even see where we are. All right, there we go. So we're going to lock that little bad boy in. All right, here we go. So you can see this downward trend that started years ago, right? November of 2021. So all of 2022, all of 2023, most of 2024, almost 3 years. And here we are. Now, we're looking to break up. If we get, like I've said many times, if we can get it like above 750, then, and for a day, like for a day, 2 days, we get above 750 and we stay there, then beautiful things are going to happen on SoFi. And this could be a three white soldiers pattern forming here too. So we'll see what happens with it. I'm optimistic SoFi benefits from rates dropping, guys. It just does. And especially if the market's expanding, it's going to do better. All right, I'll get back to you guys' questions here in a second too. Just going to rock through the rest. Square, block. Having a nice bounce, starting to test peak volumes over the shorter time frame and trying to get up to the first fib. I think Square's got an opportunity to run. I just didn't like it because I didn't like the options chain. Palantir. I think Palantir is topping out. I know nobody wants to hear that. None of my Palantir bros, if I have them, a lot of people outside of Arnie and Amit and a few others, they kind of hate me because I abandoned Palantir because I made my $600,000, then I left. But Palantir, I think again, maybe 45% upside, but also it could just trend this way for a year. And to me, that's opportunity cost, and I don't love it. But if I'm right about all my other things and make a bunch of money, I made it very, very clear. I own one share right now. I will own a lot more in the future. ArcG, because I do love the company, everything about it, really. And I love that it's run by a person who's liberal, but also who understands that we need to be strong, and we need to be prepared for war so that we don't have one. I love that. I love that his brain actually works in a way to where he understands things like this. Not a lot of liberals do. All right, Archie up 5.4%. Oh, guys, I'm getting so excited about this one. Now, I won't be totally excited until we get to like 31, and that's going to be so much higher than we are right now. Once we get above that, then it's just game on, and it's going to be a quick move to like 47.50. I think I'm planning on making at least $1 million off of ArcG. That's my goal. I love the options contract. I've displayed this stuff before. I think it's great. Won't talk much more about it. All right. All right, so I got all that stuff done. Let me get back over here real quick and see if there's anything else I'm missing. Bitcoin. I do want to go through Bitcoin notes, and then again, we'll go to your guys' stock requests, and I'll get caught up in chat. This says Bitcoin Magazine: major financial firms buying BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF as per recent filings. Wall Street is ready, and this is crazy. It's good. I love that one of the people put, like my first thing. Yet prices only go down. I love this. Everybody's so pessimistic. I love that. I think that's great. I do think it's bad for them. Here's what I hate. This is what happens every cycle. Retail gets scared. People hear that they're going to make a bunch of money. It doesn't happen in the time frame that a bunch of people describe because you just can't perfectly predict this stuff. That's not how technical analysis works. It's the law of probabilities. It's not the law of, yes, with 100% accuracy, I'm going to be right all the fucking time. That's not the law, is it? That's not the law on anything. Why would it be that way with technical analysis? But people get washed out, and then all these guys are going to be the ones that benefit from it. It's going to be the companies. It's going to be the countries like El Salvador. It's going to be hopefully us. But yeah. And again, Dennis Porter, this guy works so hard to try and get Democrats on board. I love him. I love that he's trying to do this to where it's nonpartisan. And I hope he's successful with it. But he said, Bitcoin is society enhancing money. Bank the unbanked, financially inclusive, highly accessible, discrimination-proof, money for the people, anti-consumerism, defund war machine, freedom enhancing, perfect for remits, anti-authoritarian, clean energy. I love all that. Here's the problem I have. If we allow an authoritarian to rule this country, somebody who is anti-Bitcoin, then the exits and off-ramps will not be accessible, and they'll probably outlaw the ability to be able to use this to do everyday purchases. So how does that fucking help us? We're not at the point right now where it's just like, oh, Bitcoin, oh, you don't even have to worry about it. Bitcoin doesn't fucking care about who's politicians. It totally fucking cares, okay? We haven't built out the infrastructure and the on-ramps and the off-ramps. We haven't got it to where everybody's taking payments in Bitcoin yet. You need to be embedded for it to be completely resilient. We are not there yet, okay? We're not there yet. Satoshi sure as fuck wouldn't be going, oh, we got it, guys. Home run. No worries here, otherwise known as Hal Finney, for anybody who actually doesn't know who Satoshi is. Cynthia Loomis, I love that she calls Dennis Porter out here. So is she the senator from Wyoming? I want to say it's Wyoming, whatever. She's great. I love her. She goes, Sai, I know I'm a broken record, but when somebody shows you who they are, she's talking about the Democrats, believe them. Anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, anti-digital assets, but probably pro-CBDC, central bank digital currency. This is what Harris administration looks like, and no amount of Zoom calls will fucking change that. Thank you, Cynthia Loomis. I love you for being you. Marty Party said, top Bitcoin holders is getting interesting. 1, Satoshi Nakamoto, dead guy. 2, Binance. 3, BlackRock. 4, Grayscale. 5, MicroStrategy. 6, Bitfinex. 7, U.S. government. 8, Chinese government. 9, Fidelity. 10, B1. Here's what's amazing about this is, this guy dead, but since it's Hal Finney and he lived in America, we're going to say it's American made and owned. Binance, kind of overseas. We won't give it there, right? We don't have a Binance U.S. right now. BlackRock, American-ish. Grayscale, American. MicroStrategy, American. Bitfinex, not U.S. government, definitely. But look at this. The majority of Bitcoin is being held by democracies or American companies. I love that. I love that. Some people don't like that. They want it to be like more distributed. But I would personally rather have what I believe is the freest country in the world helping foster in this technology in order to be able to encourage its development until it's so resilient that nobody can fucking kill it. So I'm there, right? That's my take. Also, Hal Finney, here's what he has to say from a while back in the Wayback Machine in 2009. Otherwise known as Satoshi Nakamoto. Historically, people have taken up scarce commodities as money, if necessary, taking up whatever is at hand, such as shells or stones. Again, read the Bitcoin Standard. Until now, no scarce commodity that can be traded over a communications channel without a trusted third party has been available. If there is a desire to take up a form of money that can be traded over the internet without a third party, now that is possible. And he built it. Thank you, Hal. Thank you for everybody else that contributed. We love you and we owe you a debt. Bitcoin Archive. Institutional demand for Bitcoin grows as more traditional investors embrace the asset. Remember the 15,000 advisors from like Morgan Stanley and these other companies that are pitching Bitcoin now. Again, there's ways to temporarily like manipulate the market and suppress price and just do all these other things. And especially from a technical and standpoint when you have algorithms running things, but you reach a point of critical mass and it's coming. And I'll get back to chat here right after I get done with this, guys. PayPal, 6 times the charm. Oh, I was fucking around. I put this under the wrong bookmark. Anyway, I had a joke for Shardy. She's my buddy. But she said, hey, 6 times the charm. And there's a rule where the more you touch it, the greater the chance that it breaks out. So I just had to be really mature about this and put the more we touch it, the greater the likelihood of it breaking through. That's what she said. You guys are welcome. I've got many dad jokes in case you need more. Vivek. So again, this is starting to happen. I told you guys this was going to happen. Now you've got the Bitcoin community going, Democrats aren't serious about this, and they're turning on them. So now Vivek is saying, Bitcoin if Kamala gets elected. There's going to be more people that are saying this in the Bitcoin community because, again, you have to be authentic for people to believe you, or at least most, smart people. I won't say most, smart people. And when you're not, it shows. Carl Minger, even with bias, it shows. Carl Minger, Richard Nixon temporarily suspended the gold standard on August 15th, 1971. Everybody, I'm not going to play that noise. Everybody always likes to say, like, what happened in 1970? It's like we got off the gold standard and we started printing money because we believed in Keynesian economics. We believed that you could just print money, as much of it as you want. You would increase the velocity of money, which means that it's circulating more amongst people. And when it's circulating more amongst people, it means that it enriches people along the way. And that part is actually true. That part is true. But then there's negative aspects of it because you make people short-sighted because their money diminishes in value. So and things cost more in the future. It's why we can't have like these big, beautiful, epic buildings and things. We can't even afford the ones we have because the upkeep is so high because they burn through our money. And this is a quick video. It's less than a minute just talking about what's happened since that time. So let's look. I turned off the audio. Sorry, I can't have the music. Average new car, $1,900. Rent was $87. That's a meal. You get TVs for cheaper than that now. Technology, if you guys haven't read, what was the name by Jeff Booth? Oh, it escapes me right now. If you guys know it in chat, please throw it out. Oh, Price of Tomorrow. You need to. 1 pound bag. Get all your smokes, guys. I love how that they used to have these like on TV shows. $1 to get into Disneyland. Try that shit today. 33 cents for a marshmallows. 75 cents to get a new movie. $800 for your Harvard tuition. Are you fucking with me? No way. 39-cent Oreos. 39-cent Spam. Wow, Spam. 57-cent eggs. That's crazy, actually, because eggs, until we had this like latest epidemic, you could still get those for like 99 cents to $1. That shows how well we did managing that with excess production and just efficiency and automation. Milk isn't that crazy. So there's some elements that aren't insane, but there's others that have went up exponentially, like Harvard tuition, right? So the inflation is theft. It is theft in the very real sense of the word. It's very important that all you guys understand this if you're here. I'm going to see if there's anything else. I think that's a lot of what I wanted to touch on. I don't think there's probably more, but is it actually valuable? Oh, yeah, Bitwise. Going live on Wall Street. Awesome. Mr. 100, buying the dip. Great. Again, that MicroStrategy leveraged ETF. Dan Held said, if Bitcoin is speculative, what do you call a $250,000 college loan with no guarantee of a job? I would call that speculative. Tyler Winklevoss said, pre-recorded videos, reading from scripts. Harris is a no-show at her own fucking event. What a clown show. So if you're serious about Bitcoin and crypto, and you're going to vote for this lady, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Just sell your shit now. Get the fuck out. This is ridiculous. Caitlin Long, I just heard something incredible at the Kamala Harris. Warrenite left-wingers are claiming to be her economics crypto advisors. May not actually be, but I wonder. Again, if you have the same people as your crypto advisors, you're an idiot. Nick Carter said, in case you were wondering how the Kamala reset is going, the U.S., which has abundant tools to exert diplomatic leverage against Nigeria, is letting a decorated former federal agent unjustly be detained and die in a Nigerian prison because he works for Binance. And then, again, don't be like Nick, guys. On October of 2011, he said Bitcoin is down to $270 or $2.70 a pop. So glad I didn't buy in at this mess. And then 4 days later, is this guy still alive? Alive, but dead inside because he hates himself for missing out on what happened with Bitcoin. And this is Bitcoin news. It says only 6. And this came from Wicked. I love this dude. He's my buddy. He doesn't let everybody chat on his stuff, but he follows me, and so he lets me chat. But only 6% of Bitcoin's total money supply, total supply remains to be mined. Just look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at what's happening. Somebody at my door. Look at this. We're almost done, guys. The new supply, unlike gold, is just ending, and it's getting cut in half every 4 years. And if you can't realize where we are right now, we're in the 2014 range. We're not done yet. If you can't realize that the amount of Bitcoin left is just going away. And so the new supply will eventually just stop. And then it's whatever the flow of this is. And this flow is directly impacted by the money printer of the world. And every country in the world is heavily indebted and getting worse and can't even pay the fucking interest on their debt. So Bitcoin's going to go up. It's going to go up. Look at this. 81% of the supply. We're at 2018. I'm just going to fast forward here. Let's get near the end. Kill that music. Look at this. This is how much of the Bitcoin has already been consumed. 94%. Wrap your head around that. There is very little new supply, guys. And again, just a 30-day demand change, permanent holders, addresses, and ETFs that are holding Bitcoin is just at an astronomical level. All right, so that's it on the Bitcoin stuff. I'm going to get caught up on chat here real quick, and then we can move on. Let me see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Got to figure out where I left off. Sorry, 40 years. Would you de-risk from... Yeah, I already said that. Legit9595 says, sorry, 40 years, typo. I'm not sure what that was about. Over 50 years, missing the best 10 days. Okay, gotcha. All right, MB, I went back to 70% cash the Friday before the crash. Added more and more since then. Now 35% cash. How much would you allocate to crypto, stocks, and how quick going forward? It depends on you, dude. I think if we have a down day tomorrow, I personally would buy. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some weirdo sitting in his basement who dropped out of high school who's talking about shit. So take it for what it's worth. But I would be more in. But then again, I'm going to be slowly selling and adding to my stack of TMF and cash in the next several months. Or, I mean, it could be shorter than that if we just explode higher. in order to be able to prepare for any weirdness with the election or any other craziness that goes on. Democrats are trying to put Trump in prison, so things could get, if that happens in the next month and a half, that could get weird. There's a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, Charlie Tango, are you going to add more to your shitcoin? No, shitcoin. So here's the way I do it, guys. Shitcoin portfolio is a long-term capital gain. I bought to hold. My last purchases were March and April. I will not be buying any more because here's the deal. The cycle could probably end in less than a year. Historically, it could be really close to that. And I like long-term capital gains where I've got half the tax bill. So I will not be adding to my position at this time. I'm just waiting I'll have that year end by March. So if I liquidated all of it, I'd be paying long-term capital gains and my maximum tax obligation would probably be around 20% on average. So I like that number. And so I don't trade in and out of this shit. It's too much busy work and it's not worth it to me. I'd rather look at the big picture. Alex Garcia, I do think Trump was not the right guy in 2020, but he's the right guy to win in 2024. I would have taken Vivek over Trump. But I think Trump is genuinely not the evil person that people make him out to be. I think he's assertive. He's a dude from fucking New York, man. I don't know what you people are looking for, but he's from New York, okay? And he's not going to be like reserved and sitting off to the side. He's going to be in your face. But I do think he's the right person easily when compared to Kamala Harris. Christopher Brown, the Elon Musk book was incredible. It was. It's one of my favorites. It's right back over here. Great window into his thought process and what makes him so successful. Dude is on a different level. I don't know if you'd want to work for Elon Musk. You have to basically devote everything about yourself to your job. I mean, there are people that are like, dude, I can't work. I'm working all the time. My eyes hurt because of staring at screens and working all the time. And he goes, all right, I'll pay for LASIK. Get to work. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to work hard if you work for Elon Musk. You're changing the world. That's the guy you're working for. Chicken Bro. Reminds me of the iPhone was threatened by Chinese phones. Look where we are now. Tesla will thrive. Totally agree. Steve Brewster, make structural battery. Oh, okay, this is about the Neo stuff. Westman, have you seen used propane tanks? Have you seen, I don't know what you mean by that, Westman. Sealess, Neo's model. Okay, we talked about that. Westman, I like Trump plus Elon now, but don't remember love in the past. I think they're going to be great together. Paul Hoger, hey, Jesse, can you check on HNSTE, please? Yeah, is that honest? We could do that. We can do a little honest. Let's get up in here. And then we'll roll through the rest of you guys' stock requests. For the people that don't know, if you've got the ability to chat, it means you're paying at least $2 a month to support my channel and my work. And that gives you the ability to be able to make stock requests. If you pay a little more than that, you can have more requests in one session. If you pay a little more than that, you can have another one. So maybe you get 3 in a session. So people that contribute more, it's crazy. It's called meritocracy. But people who contribute more get more. How wild is that? The Honest Company. Wow, what a day for the Honest Company. This thing's looking good. So it looks like they had great earnings, up 8.46% on the day, and then up another 4% in after hours. Not bad. The thing I hate about this chart is I can't do a trend-based fib extension because we don't have enough data. That part blows. So all I can do is like this. All I can do is draw from the bottom to the top. And this doesn't give quite the picture that I would get otherwise. Unless, you know what? I could probably do this too. Let's do this. I can do a trend-based fib extension. It won't be like the most perfect, but let's say this is the bottom. I think that's fair. Let's say this was the top of the high, and then we had our really strong retrace, because I do think that's true. So we closed above the .382. That's beautiful. We want to see that. And then we have the ability to, I think, run up and establish our new like 52-week high. What's crazy about this is we have left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And it's not outside of the realm of like what you would want to see. It's not ugly at all. So this is the potential of what this thing could do. It doesn't have to happen all at once. And the fundamentals need to align for the technicals to play out along with the macro, right? But let's look real quickly and see if we can look at these guys from a financial level. I don't know the fundamentals. All I know is the financials. So Honest Company. Let's look. 10% growth, not crazy. But what's the PE? It says 0. This company doesn't make money. They only had 1 quarter where they do. I don't love that. revenue estimates continue to grow. EPS is not even in positive territory yet. We do see little baby stock buybacks after a massive sell in 2021, so they thought it was overextended then. Short interest isn't crazy. Institutional ownership's been in decline. Stock-based comp was 9% of revenue. Is this the Jessica Alba one? I used to have such a crush on her. So hot. Anyway, I don't love the company, man. I don't love the cash, just isn't that much. There's a lot of debt. They're having to dilute shareholders. When is that going to change? Why are these blank? Can somebody... Oh, it's digital revenue. Maybe that hasn't come over. I need to talk to Alejandro. It looks like we've got either that or they're just not relaying it in a timely fashion between digital, retail, and AI, all commodity volume. Yeah, I don't know. Something's off. But costs are good. Like, they're getting better. I don't know. I can't love this. The technical setup. See, here's the problem. If you just looked at technicals, you'd be like, oh, dude, I'm set up. I got an inverse head and shoulders. We're going to 20. I'm going to be rich. But when you look at the financials, they look like shit. So if you know something else about this company that makes it really appealing, let me know. Otherwise, I don't fucking care. Kane Kozlowski. Is everyone else getting spammed with ads every 2 minutes? Hard to follow with, I don't know. I've got it set. It shouldn't be set. It should be set to normal. So I'm sorry if it's happening, dude. My recommendation, even before contributing to me with a monthly fee, if I was you, would be to have YouTube Premium. In the future, if I can get off of YouTube and still support my work, I'll do it. But YouTube Premium gets rid of all ads. And then you get YouTube Music for free. To me, if you spend any time on YouTube, it's so worth the money. I think it's like $9 or some shit. Maybe less for one person. So I would do that so you can avoid the ads. That's my take, man. Sorry. But yeah. Yes, I'm also flooded with ads like never before. That's weird. Why is it doing... Let me just check this one for today and make sure I didn't fuck it up. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to make sure I didn't click something wrong. I think I just did moderate. It says balanced. It's balanced, guys. I don't know, unless YouTube's changed the definition of balanced. It shouldn't be bad. So I'm sorry. I don't know what that's about. Maybe their shit got broke or something. If it's worse than normal, maybe it got broke. Weird. I don't remember ever getting hammered like this. That's strange. That's weird. Shale. Michael Burry just sold all of his gold. I heard that. Yeah. Isn't that funny? You got all these perma bears and they're just giving the fuck up. That's amazing. All right, let me get back. I lost my place here, so let me get it back into it. Hey, Jesse, can you check on... Oh, we did that one? Okay. So Michael Burry, there we are. MB, yes, I'm flooded. Okay, Jaden, Riot, the best Bitcoin miner. That's arguable. They're okay. But again, I don't like play the favorites game when it comes to this shit. I really don't care. SE. Okay, so Mads, Jensen, SE. Have had you look at it before. However, there have been a great price action in quarters since. It's about to break out of a 2-year downtrend, and last time I checked, the options look great. Okay, let's take a look at SE. I don't hate companies that can break out. Don't hate that at all. C Limited. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember. Ooh, you're right. That does look better. Yeah, you can almost do left shoulder, head, little baby right shoulder. Or just, again, probably more accurate would be like cup, handle. This is actually a beautiful looking handle. That's the right move. So from a technical level, just like our honest one, it looks pretty. I'm going to probably do this. I like to be a little conservative. So the breakout, literally, if this is accurate, if the fundamentals match, it looks like it wants to go higher. But let's look at the fundamentals. This is a $44 billion company. So what are we looking at? They better be real good. For that amount of money. Is it C Limited? What was it? Can I look this up? C Limited, SE. Why am I not able to find it? Let me just refresh. Sometimes things get weird with like everything. So let's just do this. C Limited. There we go. Okay, cool. When in doubt, refresh. All right. So game quarterly active users up. Game quarterly paying users up a little bit. Shopping e-commerce up a little bit, missing a few quarters. Revenue continues to increase. Net income looks all right. It's starting to drift into positive. What's the PE? PE is 38, not super crazy high. Growth is 23%. Activity, do we see anybody buying? Nope, none of that shit. Estimates, we see them growing still. Oh, and EPS is actually, if they're right, I mean, it looks like it's heading to the right trend. Lots of good, boy, he's got a lot of robust information on this one. Revenues by segment. Let's see, what are we seeing here? Digital entertainment looks okay. Financial looks like growth, and then e-commerce still looks like growth. Does he have this by location, operating income by segment? I'm trying to remember where all the orders are for these guys. What parts of the world are we looking at here? Does anybody remember off the top of their head? This company is from Singapore. Yeah, okay, I remember that. I don't know, man. So here's the bet. Here's my 2 cents. I don't hate this play. And I'll look at the technicals and kind of tell you where resistance levels are. Here's kind of what I'm thinking about this is Singapore benefits from China's demise. I think it's that simple. So maybe, just maybe, this company can improve and get better and better and better from China falling apart. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's that simple. Now, from a technical level, we are at resistance. You're right. Next move is a beautiful one. The next move is like 125. So you could see a decent increase on this one. I need to see if there's a way for me to share every chart I have from TradingView. I'll try and do that. That way you guys will have like a quick link for all the stuff I do, and you don't have to like ask me if you just want to see the chart and see whether or not it's updated. I think that's wise. So I'll see if I'll reach out to my buddies over there. They usually sponsor me for shit too, so I'll see if they can do something like that. They already gave it to me for free. I get like $1,000 plus of TradingView a year because these guys love me so much. They're a great company. They're the best chart company in existence right now. If you're trying to do TA, there's not even anything else. It's not even like Apple and Android. There's just nothing else. All right, so Shale, Lol, Gary Crit. Didn't know SoFi was an acronym for so fucked. Yeah, sorry. Jaden, can you look at Enphase? Looks like it wants to break out. Yeah, dude, Enphase is one I haven't really paid a lot of attention to, but boy, you got that lower rate thing coming. And so you should see benefits come. You could see benefits already coming from Europe, but then you could also see benefits coming in the United States too. It does look breaky, doesn't it? So again, we had our rollover here. That did not work out well at all, where we just died. But we do have a breakout zone here. We need to hit it and then finally break through. But I like the fact that we're pressing up against peak volumes. And I like the macro setup because I do think rates were losing at least 25 bips here on the next Fed meeting. And so you got, like, we're down 65% from the high. We got tons of little baby gaps here to fill, including a huge one all the way up to the 220 range. I don't think this is a stupid play. The only question I have from a U.S. perspective is how much Enphase will be needed in the future. But I do think that the energy market is all going to grow. So maybe there's room for Enphase and Tesla, even though Tesla's probably going to be pushing really hard into battery storage, and I don't even know if they're going to need these inverters on their Tesla Wall 3s. So there might be some things that make it to where this company doesn't do as well, but I do think that you could get at least, I mean, I think we're going to go up 34% and test towards 159 and at least the 200 moving average at 45%. So you can get a little bit of a flip on this. I don't know what options look like. Let me see here. Let me go down. Thoughts on Shimano from MB. Solid business, bouncing nicely. Couple of months despite the Japanese shit show. Shimano. I mean, I love the name. Are they the ones that make the gear things? What the fuck is Shimano? The fuck is Shimano? Tell me what Shimano is. Make a copy. Shimano. Because I don't know what the ticker looks like. And you didn't give it to me. Kind of rude, bro. I'm just kidding, but kind of. All right, Japanese. There we go. All right, that's the one. 7309. No wonder you didn't give it to me. All right. It has had a good run recently. So there's that. It's had a really good run. Let's look at financials if I can. If I can't, then I don't even know if this is going to be worth our time, because I like to at least get that. I don't like to just tell people like, oh, get excited with Shimano. Yeah, I don't even know if I can pull this one up, bro, because it's a Japanese stock. I don't know if Alejandro has these. I don't know if he's in chat at all. But Yeah, I don't think I could pull this one up from a financial standpoint, so I'm just going to say I don't have a take. MB, also worth having a look at Goog. Flat today, perhaps more upside potential than its peers over the short. I fucking hate Google stock as a play. But yeah, let's look at it. The Goog. Is it the Goog or the Google? Which one's the parent company? Whatever. Who cares? It's all kind of the same. All right, let's see here. We'll do AutoFit. It's probably the parent company because this looks sparse. Let me go over here. Oh, no, this is Google. Over here, I need to change it. It probably should be under Goog. There we go. Where are all the volumes? This is 2 trillion. Gosh, it just looks so... Oh, I'm on a 5-minute candle. What the fuck? Ah, now I see what you're talking about. Let's look at the fundamentals for Google, or the financials, not the fundamentals. It's dumb to say fundamentals when you're looking at financials because even though... I'm typing out the word financials. Even though... All right, so it is Google L. That's what I want to use. I can't remember the parent company and stuff. All right, so let me do this. Back. Oh, no. Back. Get off my screen, bro. All right, there we go. So we want to use this one. All right, so let's go back over here and just look at what we're at. So this is a $1.9 trillion company. It's got a growth rate of 13% revenue year over year. The PE is only 21. That's not bad for tech. I will give you that. But here's what we're seeing. We're seeing cash going down. Debt went down a little bit here too. Still a huge stockpile. You can't really shit on somebody who's got $100 billion in cash and bonds. Just their bonds alone. I don't know. I haven't looked at their quarterlies in a while. That's a lot of money. Cloud is really what's saving these guys right now, okay? YouTube revenue hasn't really went anywhere in a long time. If we go to yearly here, look, it's kind of dead. It's cloud. Cloud operating margins have saved this company. If they didn't have that, boy, would they be fucked. They look super toppy to me, which I think is why they've been beat up so bad. Here's what I worry about with Google. I worry about all the blatant censorship. I worry about both on YouTube, like I've posted about recently with my own account, and also on Google. Even though I objected and they did the right thing, I do worry about the censorship and them just trying to keep money from people that are just trying to post political news. I worry about, like, again, the ad thing and trying to make it look like Kamala's doing whatever, whatever it is. Google is just always biased towards the left. And so what happens if Trump does win the presidency in November? And then right now we have the talk of a breakup for Google from the left, which is insane to me. It's like these people are one of your biggest financial contributors, and they side with you on their search engine and YouTube, and yet you're bucking them. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. But there's a lot of good metrics here, but I just worry that I think Google search is dying. I use Grok almost all the time, and if I can't use Grok, I'm using another chat bot, whether it's ChatGPT or something else. So there's a bunch of good ones out there that are better than ChatGPT. So again, it's like why, and then there's so many different ones, different bots for different applications. Like, what is Google anymore? What is Google anymore? Let's look at revenue by segment. The vast majority of their revenue comes from search and other. Then YouTube ads is beneficial too. But if you look at just those two, and then subscriptions, the only reason people are subscribing to YouTube is to avoid ads and get like free YouTube music. So what happens when you start to kill 75 to 80% of the pot? Because X is taking over, because it looks like the right and the left don't like your company anymore and want to break you up. It's just a weird time because Google's getting ready to really lose badly at search. And then at the same time, now we want to break them up because they've got a monopoly in search. And the Democrats are the ones doing it. It's just weird, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I don't think that Goog is something that I would be investing in personally. All right, let me see here. Ethereum, please. Yeah, we could look at these. Let me see. I think I missed some. I must have moved down in the chain here. SE we did. Okay. SoFi we talked about. Long term. Goog we just did. Sorry, I have to watch out because sometimes things move on me. Annie and Everything said, can you give me your thoughts on Sava? I have to drop for a meeting, but we'll check the vid later. Yeah, dude, I can. I'll do a couple more here soon. I'm almost 2 hours in, but I'm trying to get better, especially as we're growing here at helping you guys out by getting through your list as much as I possibly can. Since you guys are paying to support me, I'm trying to support you. So let me get in here at Sava. Oh, I did that under the wrong one. Let me do make a copy. Let me do Sava. And then let me get over here. So I'll try and get through as many of these as I can. I'll probably wrap up in maybe the next 10, 15 minutes. So I'll try and shorten my spiels. But this thing's up 20% today. I don't know what the fuck it is. Let's look over here under the financials and see if we can get something here. Cassava Sciences. Some software tech. Running a 34 PE. Whoa. What happened to the revenue, bro? They haven't had any? Oh, I don't love this. A little pain. Why don't they make money? Lost 6 million. Lost 25 million. Operating expenses exploded. Negative cash flow. We are seeing more buybacks than sales. I guess that's good. Short interest is 40%. Dude, people think this company is dying, and their estimate for their returns are getting worse. And the operating leverage is one of the worst charts I've ever seen in the history of doing this. And yeah, fuck this shit. No, we're getting Can I get my thing to trigger? Thumbs down. Trigger. Damn it. All right. Yeah, no. I'm going to say hell no. All right, moving on. Not even going to look anymore. Kane. Sorry about that, any and everything, but I guess we're not doing anything and everything with Sava right now. Kane, is there somewhere I can read into your statement that it was Hal Finney? Oh, yeah. I'll probably have to do a video on that or see if I can find a really good source. So Hal Finney, so there's this guy that lived next to Hal Finney. He lived in California, right? Hal Finney had he ended up developing ALS about the time that Satoshi Nakamoto had quit, where he had kind of quit contributing, had fired off the network, had mined, had done all these things, got a 1.1 million Bitcoin. The network was working. It was a live, living thing. And then he just bowed out for no apparent reason. He sold 0 of his Bitcoin since that time. Hal Finney, around that same time, literally became incapable of communicating with human beings shortly thereafterwards. His neighbor just a block or so down the street happened to be named, get this, Satoshi Nakamoto. And there's that, and there's a billion other reasons. But yeah, so here's the other thing. Why would Satoshi Nakamoto, who mined 1.1 million Bitcoin, just disappear off the face of the earth and then never cash that out? This is just a high-level summary, guys, but it's Hal Finney. It's Hal Finney, and he's dead, and it's sad. And yeah, maybe I'll add that to my list of videos. I got a lot of videos. Again, tomorrow I'll do the deregulation Vivek Balaji video. I will be doing, since tomorrow I think is Friday and I'll be traveling over the weekend, Sunday I'm going to try and do my Bitcoin mining video. And then I'll put a Hal Finney video somewhere in this too for you guys. But yeah, I mean, he was Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm 99.9% sure that it was him. Bob, great stuff, Jesse. Andrea Cassini, can you explain the mechanics of your TGT hedge? It's not TGT, it's TMF, or TLT, and that is just the bond market. So the bond market got royally fucking destroyed. It went through a route that was so bad that we hadn't seen levels of this drop since the 1700s, which is pretty early in the creation of the United States of America. So it was really bad, right? And you can see that if you look at TLT here, the 20-year bond, look at this. It was just devastated. It was devastated. Bonds are supposed to, when the world is falling apart, what is supposed to happen is you're supposed to be in bonds before that, and then when when the world falls apart, you make a bunch of money, and then you take the money you made off your bonds, and then you buy stock when the world starts to look better. That's what was supposed to happen. But what had happened to the 20-year from peak to trough over a period between March of 2020, roughly where the peak was, down to the bottom in October of 2023. So the course of a year and a half, you lost 54% of your value in this fucker. Which, again, you could have been in like fucking tech stocks and probably gotten that level of drop. So it was a mess. It was a disaster. It didn't play out the way it was supposed to. And you can see in 2008, like, look at this. What happened in 2008? Well, the moments of peak fear in the bond market made you a shit ton of money. It was at 123, whereas when the market started to roll over, you were like at 97, or I'm sorry, 90. And then you went to 123. So you made like a 50% return, 40% return on your money when the world fell apart. Well, this time you lost half of it. So things didn't work out correctly with the mechanics behind it, but it's deeply undervalued right now. And I do believe that if we see a Donald Trump, Elon Musk presidency, sorry, I should put JD Vance in there. He's the vice president too. But if we see like this cohort, and we see Vivek and Balaji and these other people getting into government, maybe a Robert F. Kennedy joining the cabinet too, you're going to see a time of deregulation and pushing for energy reduction in costs. And just, you're going to see a time where I think we explode higher. Then the narrative, I believe, along the way will shift, and people will be like, is America's debt really that bad? I mean, China's got a debt to GDP of 340, maybe it's 400% by that time. America is getting closer to 100% because they've been making all these moves and cutting costs. So I don't know. Maybe just maybe this is a really great deal in the bond market right now. I believe that's true, and I believe America's not failed yet. And I believe that America's ability to not fail is really good because we're built off a democracy and capitalism. And as long as we don't stray away from that, and as long as we embrace that, and as long as we embrace people like Elon Musk and Balaji and Vivek and Trump and JD Vance and just people that aren't authoritarian and believe in capitalism and democracy and innovation and deregulation, I think America is going to do really good at a time when China's failing. So I would almost do a shorting in China. I don't know if I want to say that because I don't know that you'd get your money. But I would definitely go long in TLT. And so here's the deal. TLT, to get back to its previous highs, if the bond market does recover, you get an 84% return. But if you're invested in TMF has like theta decay and stuff like that because it's a 3x multiplier to TLT. So you got to keep that in mind. It's kind of a momentum play. If you make a bunch of money off of it and you don't take the money out, it can kind of bite you in the ass. I got to fix something here. This is not right. But you can see in here, I got to fix this later, but you can see in here that to get back to where we were before, if the market really did good over a short period of time, like let's say a year, 2 years, that's a short period of time in the bond market, you would have a return that's fucking retarded, for lack of better words. I know that's not a PC term. But I doubt anybody. Yeah, anyway, whatever. So 1,600 days since the tippity top on this one, and it says 915% return. Do I think you'd get that? No, probably not, because again, you have that diminishing, return on it. But could you get a 400% over a couple of years? Yes. And if you bet on America, then this might be the best play after you've made a bunch of money off of Tesla, after you've made a bunch of money off of Bitcoin, after you've made a bunch of money off of some of these other option plays with PayPal, ArcG, Hood. Maybe this is the next thing that's really going to benefit you. It's the thing nobody believes in right now. And I love that. I love it when people don't believe in things because then I do my homework. All right. I hate to say this, guys, but I think I'm going to kill it here. We went for over 2 hours. It's been fun. It's been real. We could talk. Jesse, what is your source thinking behind China? What is my source? The source. That's a great question. All All right, so I'll answer maybe this as best as I can. Let's just read through what all you said, though. China's debt to GDP, official percentage is 84%, IMF data. Yeah, International Monetary Fund wouldn't be my source, that's for sure. I understand that China reports all kinds of data. So China has removed 95% of their data, economic data reporting. So it's kind of a black box. And you're right, the official numbers are closer to looking better than the United States, but the shadow banking sector in China is fucking ridiculous. And there are sources from China, brilliant minds and economists, and some of these people have had to leave. They went to Singapore, they went to Taiwan, they went to other locations because they can't report reality. If they do, they will die. So just like that video of the guy we were talking about. He's like, no. You say something like that, you disappear. This is crazy, but can you imagine if we said that in our government? No, if you said something like that about the supreme leader, you're gone. In a major democracy, can you? Whatever. But yeah. So there's sources that are really good. I need to make another China video where I kind of rehash all these things because I haven't looked at them in so long. But the shadow banking sector in China is horrific. And that's where I get the extra debt from, the indebtedness. It's from what we believe the actual central bank debt to be versus what the IMF says it is, and then also what the shadow banking and corporate sectors look like, and how their economy is constructed. And it's definitely hard to have a real number, but I do think the realistic one is 300+% indebtedness, which is crazy because in 2008 during the economic collapse, they were in such a great position and had such a surplus of capital, and it's just nuts what's happened to that country in a period of 15 years. They've fallen apart, and this is what happens when you have mismanagement from government, whether it's in the United States. It's even worse in a communist country where 15% of the people are on the fucking payroll, and they can basically. Can you imagine what it would live like? Imagine what it's like to live in a country where you have, if you're higher up in the CCP, as long as you don't piss off people that are above you, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can embezzle, you can steal, you can literally kill your opponents, and you can do whatever you want. Imagine the level of corruption that is created, and that's the problem that China has, and that's why they're so indebted, and that's why. And it's hard for that data to actually get here because the people that would give you that data are like BlackRock and Bloomberg and all these other companies that have a vested interest in you not knowing the truth until they get the fuck out. Ray Dalio, he doesn't want you to know what's going on in China. He wants to get the fuck out of China. Maybe he's hoping it'll still recover, but they don't give you the truth because they have no reason to. So you have to dig deeper. You have to find the people that are financial experts. You got to find the Michael Pettises that actually still live in China but can give you as much of the truth as they possibly can. You got to find just all the brilliant people that exist and then go off of that. So it's harder to come up with the truth, but I'll try and make a new video that helps with that too. That'll be another one of my ideas. Sorry for such a long stream, guys. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. But yeah, that's my thesis on TMF, and that's kind of what I'm leaning on as a major buying opportunity when I believe that the markets have completely collapsed after we've melted up, which I think happens in the next 8 to 14 months. So that's all I got, guys, for today. I love you all, and again, thank you for everybody that contributes financially, clicks, whatever. You guys are great. Hope you all have a great night. If you could hit the like before you go. Peace out, guys. Bye. Oh, and let me give you some tunes. I'm going to say this. We're going to go, you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to do an all-time high thing before I jump out of here. We're going to have to go, yeah. Well, let's do this. We're going to do this one. There you go. There's your outro.
What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. right? Like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, I mean, right, but I mean, we can all look Bitcoin sort of as...
Forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. 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 Okay?